it is written, "Abeni Akir Ephraim midei dabri bo ezkarenu od." I mean, my son Ephraim, which is, I mean, implicitly lost. As I speak about him more and more, I just remember him more. By speaking about him, I recall more of his life, of him. It's in the prophet. So, I mean, let me paraphrase in a very grotesque way. The more I speak about the state of Israel, the more I remember all the disgusting thing. I mean, the filth is unbelievable. I mean, how low can you go? I mean, it's you just want to puke. It's so disgusting, so violent and stupid. It's Dixieland. Just that they don't have any abolitionists. Everybody's in the slave trading business. This state is so repulsive. I mean, they always break new limits. I know that you want to hear about science, so I'm working on it. I mean, it's not that easy because there is a lot of technical stuff, but I mean, we will have both alternate and because I'm upgrading my direct current circuits, which I came to the conclusion that they are actually important, I mean, for the initial stage. But I mean, the argumentation is kind of complicated, and I want to gather more evidence before I present it to you. And maybe it's not true. I mean, it's everything. It's just a model. It's just a theory. Alien nanobot God's theory. So, but I will present the theory. I mean, in the next, maybe, I guess, in following week. But yes, it's not a new one. I mean, that's the first stage should, I mean, be electrolysis, even though without life, I mean, or with minimal amount of life that is created. Actually, there is some life. I mean, you can actually scrape the bottom of the Arks of the Covenant, as I said, and you see some life. But I try to minimize it because I want them to use this stage in their life to get fat and eat and perhaps even multiply. And I came to the conclusion that ionization can actually be beneficial, but let's speak about it later. I touched the subject a while ago. And even perhaps galvanization might be helpful, because remember that we want to actually, I mean, eventually we will create a magnetic field. And they will, the neurons will, I mean, they will work and they will stay inside the barrel. Like it's not going to be like a very thin and short and round. I mean, thin and relatively long cylinder. I'm not certain yet if it will be made out of metal or not. I'll probably try both. This is why I say that I have a lot of work, so it takes me a lot of time. I mean, so I'll probably use both. I'll use this cylinder because it's hollow, so needles can be put inside. Remember that you don't need, great volume for, the proof of concept. I want to create gold. Even like 100 gram or 50 gram of gold, first of all, it's a lot of money. I don't have a penny, so it's good money. And second, of course, it's a proof of concept. But there is also another direction of creating a hollow clay cylinders, which is something that I will also do later today. I will use the cover of a wire. This black one, and I'll cover it with a thin layer of clay. And I will use this material because I know from other experiments that it's really easy to, once the clay is dried, it's really easy to pull the plastic cover of the wire out. I've done it it's part when I create all sorts of snake skeleton, like these actually. The skeleton. Snake sculptures. They're actually more complicated, then they might seem to you, because they are made of several layers. It's not sculpturing is not that trivial, because pretty soon things are getting heavy, and you don't want them to be heavy, because it's you can't move it, and it's very breakable when it's heavy, and it's a lot of clay. That's for what reason you don't need it to be so heavy? And actually, if you remember, I wanted to fly to Hong Kong to sell it, and so there was an issue of how can you get it with you on the flight, because so there was all issue of how to make it modular, because some of the parts of the clay of the sculpture I can actually put maybe in the luggage, but some I need to take with me, because they contain my semen, which I didn't know at the time. That's actually because of the nanobots, but I already knew that I can't that I must take it with me on the flight. As you remember, I stored the nanobots on all sort of clay sculptures or part of sculptures. Even those two will now serve as basis for the electrolysis for the container, for the new containers of the electrolysis. They also contain actually a good amount of semen inside. It's a question, how can you retrieve it? Once it's there, but we'll get to it later. It's not really, but I have enough supply of semen in syringes, which is much easier to use. I'm really serious at my job, as you see. I'm doing whatever it takes. Petting the monkey, feeding the one-eyed snake, etc., etc., etc. So yes, no, it's not the preference. I wish I had a woman, a girlfriend, but yes, sex is not allowed for the slave class, and it's just like that. It's not some kind of exaggeration. I already told you, all my argumentation in this issue. Sex is not allowed for us. And of course, needless to say that romantics, romance is even, is even more ridiculous to even think about. Don't be fool. You're a piece of toaster. What? The best you can hope for is maybe for us from time to time to have a very dirty and quick sex in the office, of course controlled by your boss, literally, which will arrange everything. So you will have sex with the partner that it's everything according to the plan of the Bnei Gesherit of Dune. Just like that. Anyway, this is the worst state that ever existed in the history of mankind, and every day that this scum state exists is a stain on this planet, not only on humanity, which is already stained, head and shoulders, but on the planet, which does not belong only to humans, as you know. Where were we? מדברים בנו סנן מאוד. So, what an horrible place. It's hell. So we will have alternate current, of course, with resistance. I assembled more bulbs, houses of bulbs to be used easily, but still requires more work, which hopefully I will finish in the next couple of hours. And I will have so I was saying part of the basic technique of sculpturing with clay, also other material, but clay, is how to make your sculptures as hollow as possible, because mostly you don't sometimes you need the weight actually, but this is mostly for small sculptures. Up to from certain size, it's always how can you save on clay, not only because of the money, but actually it's only an issue, especially for a poor guy like me. I even didn't have the money for clay. Just like in the Bible, in the book of Exodus, that Pharaoh tell the slave, from now on you're not. You need to actually find the straw and the mud for the bricks yourself. After they want, after Moses and Aaron asked him to release the slaves. So even for dirt, I don't have money. But in any case, it's I mean, I mean, part of the technique is to make it hollow. And so one of the ways that, I mean, I have patented it on me, to create hollow snakes, because I have pretty much, I mean, I have quite a bit of snakes with all sorts of pedestals and eggs that, I mean, if you remember, like it's a lot of it is in Facebook and Twitter, all sorts of eggs, and the eggs contain semen inside them, like inside the eggs, like Nero juice. So I mean, you want the snake to be hollow, like you want almost everything to be hollow, but you still want it to be like, I mean, the shape of a snake, and so you want it like to be relatively, I mean, the same on the same like radius, not exactly, because I mean it varies a little bit with snake, but approximately, I mean, it should look like, I mean, natural, but hollow. So so the way that I used is I took like a thick plastic covers of wires, like that one. This one is even better actually, because it's empty of the wire itself, I think. Yes, because I used, I mean, I needed, where is it? No, so I'll use one which is actually empty, which is even better, because you don't get the iron. But that doesn't really matter. What matters is it is really, after the clay dries, it's really easy to just pull it out, the wire and the cover, the plastic cover, and you get exactly what you want, which is a snake that is relatively the same, like the same thickness and empty, I mean, hollow, and thus, I mean, lighter, and require less material. So I will use this technique to create another container for the alternative current magnetism experiment. So you can ask, okay, but it's, I mean, so we will wrap the wire around the clay like cylinder, and the needles will be inside, and perhaps other things will also be inside. We can speak about what exactly could be inside besides the needles, but that's another question. Let's leave it for now. Maybe I'll speak about it later today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. But I mean, so where is the conductor? Where is the conductor of the coil of the philharmonic? I mean, the idea is that, I mean, you wrap the wire around a conductor, some kind of material that conducts electricity, and when the flow is, I mean, when it flows around the metallic, I mean, the metal, it's mostly metal, I mean, because it needs to be conductive. So I mean, as I said, I mean, according to the basic relation between magnetism and electricity, I mean, it creates flow. Sorry, I mean, the other way around, but they are equivalent. I mean, you magnetize the metal, which is like the coil is wrapped around it. I mean, then like that you create a strong magnet. It's just equivalent, because you can create like electrical current using any sort of from a socket or from batteries, and that way you can create, I mean, you can use it to create a magnet, but you can also do the other way. This is I mean, I elaborated on it on a previous video, that actually this is how almost all electricity which is used in home or in urban settings is actually generated all around the world. That, I mean, it's the other way around. You use steam to revolve a propeller of a turbine, and it's connected to the magnet, and then the magnetic field is constantly changing, and then current is generated, and that's how we have electricity since Tesla pretty much invented that. Wasn't actually famously, it was like they say that it's like the model of Tesla against the direct current model of Edison, but it's not really accurate. It's more complicated than that. But I mean, people want to assign, like, they like to speak about, like, I mean, people like characters in history. So you have the Edison versus Tesla thing. It wasn't exactly like that, and they were not comparable, because Edison was like never mind. Let's not. I mean, digress. But Tesla was more like a scientist. He was poor and like he wasn't unfriendly, but I mean, he was a scientist, a poor scientist and lonely, and most of his life. I mean, and Edison was like, I mean, a businessman. I mean, also a scientist, but in his heart, he was a person like, I mean, he was there to make, as Dale Carnegie says, to make influence and friends, and that's what they did. I mean, also about 1,000 patents, but also how to make friends and influence was his motto. So you can ask, okay, so where is the conductor if we want to create magnetism? But we don't really want to actually create magnetism. What we do is that we create magnetic field which is constantly changing because it will be alternate current, which is less typical for such devices. Mostly they use direct current, but we will use alternative current, which will be much more powerful since we don't have the transformer that decreases the voltage by, I mean, by a lot. I mean, all transformer. I have a bunch of transformer here that I'm using, but all of them decreases the voltage by a lot. That's the way it is. And so we use alternative current. Of course, we need to add resistance by adding lamps to the Q, the circuit, the circuit and Q circuit that we create. And so the idea is actually to use the change. I mean, the hypothesis is that if we will create a magnetic field that is constantly changing, we will actually create current on the conductor, which, I mean, the wire is wrapped around. And the idea is that way, I mean, the neurons might, I mean, we will be able to harness or to harvest the electrical current and to work more efficiently. And again, it's in a way, it's already, I mean, we have already seen it many times using electrolysis, which is, I mean, it's a variation of this because we have a direct current and the neurons swim in the liquid, and the liquid is, I mean, the two rods are placed inside the liquid, and that's the way like the circuit is closed. So and it was demonstrated many times that it's actually enhanced the capacity of creating life by tons. Like, I mean, it was. This is one of the facts that I'm certain about because I've seen it again and again. So yes, so it's not it's not just dreams like and fantasy, because we've always seen. I mean, the idea is how we know that they can actually harness the electrical energy to work better. I mean, to enhance their work. I mean, work by definition is, I mean, change of types of energy. And so yes, I mean, it makes sense that they can, I mean, harness the electrical energy and use it for their purpose, which hopefully will be more in the lines of creating gold and less on the line of creating psychopathic alien water snakes, even though I'm very fond of them. But I mean, I really need money right now, and I mean, many people, I mean, strongly argue that I should not, I mean, go further with the plan of little shop of horrors that will actually sell the snakes. And I mean, just for now, I mean, tentatively, I as a tentative, I mean, concession, I decided, I mean, to take the advice for now. And I mean, I halted the plan to sell the snakes, even though I have quite a bit already, and I can actually sell them right now. Just, I mean, for that to happen, just people need to come to this place. I mean, the only barrier is that, as I said, I mean, I don't see how a normal carrier, I mean, carrier, how do you say, courier or carrier? I mean, like DHL or, I mean, or FedEx will agree to ship it abroad, and even inside Israel, it's kind of questionable. But I mean, I can sell it already. But yeah, I mean, many people didn't like the idea, and I decided that for now, maybe tactical to do tactical retreat, to conduct a tactical trick and tactical retreat on this issue. But I saved the right to reopen a little shop of horrors later. So I mean, gold but people have much less objections to me selling golds. I mean, beside the Israelis that they object for me to do anything. I mean, they just want me to be a whore and a slave. But yes, that's what they are. So again, the question is, so what would be? I mean, if you use only a clay cylinder, what's the conductor here? Then you don't have any conductive material. So, but it might be that the neurons themselves are conductive material. And that's what I want to actually check. That's why I'll do this experiment on parallel to the more, straightforward experiment that I will use this cylinder, which is hollow and covered with metal. Who knows? Maybe we will actually discover that they are not only conductive, the neurons, but also maybe they are superconductive. I mean, maybe we'll find more amazing properties. There is a lot to be. There are a lot to be done. Open paths of roots of research that are open with regard to electricity and the work of neurons. So yes, it will be great. I wanted to say another thing regarding So I've mentioned like in one word the issue of galvanization. Perhaps we'll even discover that even galvanization, which is currently I treat it as a side effect of ionization and electrolysis, perhaps it's actually helpful. The course of action of using electricity to enhance the work of manipulating matter or creating work on or dead matter, because they actually cover themselves with metal. Using by the process of galvanization, so they might enhance the conductivity that I don't know, but it's just a theory. It's just an alien theory, and it's one of the theories that it's going to be very difficult for me to actually assess in these humble conditions. But I do not shy from presenting theories, even if they are very difficult for me to assess. Just to have things to work with. Theories are very important because otherwise I will be completely helpless, and otherwise it will just be random, or seemingly random results of experiments that get you nowhere. You have to always, think about theories and hypotheses that explain, even if you're wrong. They create tentative model to explain what you see, because otherwise it will just be flux of new knowledge, which seems to me completely random. That's why it's so important that I always create new theories, even though, again, probably all of them will not be, accurate, at least not on the first try. It's an iterative mode of work. Although I thought about it a little bit more, and yeah, okay, so again, the Israelis, had their way. It doesn't really make sense. It makes sense that the MI6 actually, ordered the video regarding the royal family, and it seems like a job of the Mossad, because it's so rude. It's so Israeli and rude, and I'm not certain about it, but. Yeah, I was angry because, first of all, because I'm always under attack here, and I'm an angry person. I'm an angry slave, Spartacus. But also because, as you understand, the whole issue of the English connection is like, it's like, you go to, it's really, you. To pour salt water on open wounds of a beggar. You have the beggar, which is, I'm a victim of Nazi concentration camp for so long, and you humiliate me, you take everything from me, I'm subject to torture, and I just want to be free, to let me go, let me and my children go from this hell. And you start to speak to me about the royal family. It's kind of like, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? It's only it just serves to further humiliate me and make fun of me. I want to leave this place. Let me go. It doesn't. Why should we even care about all sorts of crazy theories with British theories? And why should I even care about my origin story? As I said many times, my objective is not to discover my origin story and my real purpose in life. I do not lack purpose in life already. My objective is to get away, to live the hell that I live in. And I don't need the royal family for this. I need government that will actually move legs and arms. But yeah, it's probably a work of the Mossad. It's so disgusting. In any case, it should be noted for people that did not follow me before the YouTube stage, because it's something that I spoke about on the Twitter stage. My intention to leave Israel and to move to China, to Hong Kong, and to China in general with my daughters, and to find home there and to start life there, is not something that I took with with the light head. It was it cooked in my mind for during a long time, and it was a long process, and I blogged about it and spoken about it. It's not something it's not something arbitrary at all. And I have for many months now, have a strong opinion that that's what I should do. And I've spoken about it a lot, and I don't want to reiterate everything, and it's not the subject of this video, but my main reasons are, they are related to the nature of the state itself. And that's where I want to go. Maybe I will reiterate some of the key points here in YouTube, but it's in Twitter actually, so it's public. It's something that was in my mind for a long time. I even spoke about it with Inbal about a year ago, so it's not something new. Like, I asked her what she think about it, and actually, she of course she refused, because she can't say yes. She's a slave of the Shabak like all of us here. But it's so I just mentioned it that you will understand that it's not something new at all, and there is a lot of thought behind it, and I've spoken about it in great detail. Maybe I'll reiterate some of the stuff here in YouTube. So it's not yes, my next the place where I want to go to actually live and raise my children is Hong Kong in China. I did mention in the past several times that if for some reason it will not be possible. If it will be possible to leave the hell that is Israel, but it will not be possible to start new life in Hong Kong for I don't know what reason. There can be many reasons, and of course, I also depends on my ex-wife. This will all be done with the coordination of the ex-wife, of course, of Inbal. So I mentioned that if there will be an acoustic problem, unsolvable problem that I will not be able to start new life in Hong Kong with my daughters, but I will indeed be able to leave the hell to escape the Nazi prison, which is Israel. So the next, the second option is the United Kingdom. This is something that I've spoken about in the past, and it had strong reasons behind it that are, in no way they were not connected to any kind of imaginary or real or mythologic relations between me and the royal family. I haven't thought about it at all, and it wasn't in my it wasn't even in the radar, as they say. It's not. It was this. I have no clue about it, and I still don't have any clue about it. It's so. There were tangible reasons that I outlined for, and I also I went for several times. I painted with canvases outside the English embassy several times, and it's also recorded in YouTube and in Twitter and Facebook, and this also it's by now it's like a long history of my understanding of this world. And yes, United Kingdom was I explicitly mentioned it many times that this is a second choice, second option if Hong Kong and China will not, for some reason, will not be able to actually happen. And of course, it's not related at all to any kind of connection with anyone in England. It's related to the nature of the state and its history. So okay, that's it for now. A lot of work, a lot of things to do. Although we need to advance with my paintings. Paintings are also important. Yeah, tons of stuff to do. And God, please get me out of here. Israel is the worst state that ever existed. A pirate ship full of scumbags.